All right, this is episode 3 of The Fellas, and we do have our first special guest on our podcast. He is the one and only Rue. We got a few topics for you all today. We're going to talk about last night's game. There's some noise going on around that as well. We're going to head down to the boot. Rue, he's down from that boot down in that Louisiana. You know what I'm saying? And then we're going to talk about that. And of course, my favorite topic, sports bets, right? That's where we make that money. Rue, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready, man. Let's get this rolling.
All right. So let's break this down. We wrapped up week 11 of the NFL season, and all the story was about, the Super Bowl rematch, right? Patrick Mahomes versus Jalen Hurts, Chiefs, Eagles,
Big hype.
Kelsey brothers, exactly. Big hype. And like the Eagles said, right, they couldn't win the ring last night, but it was a step towards doing that at the end of the season for them. So the Eagles came back. They were down from a 17-7 deficit at the half. They went on to win 21-17. And the big story, Chiefs being shut out in the second half. Pat Mahomes threw the ball almost 50 times. He ended 24 out of 43 for 177 yards, 2 tubs and a pick. But the big story, the receiving squad, abysmal overall. And Jalen Hurts was no better, right, at getting the job done. But he did finish out with a strong second half, finishing 14 of 22, 150 yards. He threw a pick, but 2 touchdowns on the ground, which is what got the Eagles back in the game to win. So that being said, Rue, who needed this win more?
No, I definitely think the Eagles needed that win more. I mean, because when you look at Patrick Mahomes, I don't know, man. I give him the Brady treatment at this point. Like, I hate Tom Brady because he was so good, and I'm starting to feel the same way with Patrick Mahomes. At this point, I don't think the guy has nothing else to prove other than he's trying to just beat Brady's record. So definitely the Eagles needed that win a little bit more. But they didn't really look like the Eagles that we're used to seeing either. I mean, something was just up with the offense, this last night. I don't know what it was. Even AJ Brown, I think in fantasy he gave me like 1.8 points. Like,
Yeah, no, it wasn't good. Yeah, no, you're right, spot on there. AJ Brown finishes the day with 8 receiving yards, man.
yeah, like how does that even happen? How does that even happen?
Yeah.
I don't even understand that. But I don't know. Just like I said, Eagles definitely needed that win more. Like you said, it wasn't for the ring, but they definitely needed that win to kind of validate themselves and let them know that they can actually beat the Chiefs.
Right.
But at the same time, the Chiefs pretty much beat themselves. Like you said, it was just atrocious with the receiving core. Um, even Kelsey was dropping passes, man. Like, dude couldn't get a break, man.
No,
So
there was definitely a whole reel at the end of the night. You know how fast the internet works. Seeing Kelsey, all the times he dropped those balls, eye closed, like damn, is this really happening right now? And obviously, weather always plays a factor. It was cold, it was rainy, and they were coming off that. To me, it was a big win for them to get back on that win streak. But you're right, that receiving core is what we've thought it's been, which is just terrible. And you can obviously they've won a Super Bowl without Tyreek Hill, but this is where a person like Tyreek Hill comes into play and could give you that spark and give you that even that short pass for Mahomes to take it for a first down when they were down in that fourth quarter, 25 yards, 4th and 25, 3rd and 20. That's where Tyreek comes in.
Yeah. And plus, he brings that double coverage too, so somebody's always open as well. So,
and like you said, going forward, so for the Eagles, obviously, I mean they're the best team in the league. That doesn't mean that the Chiefs can't get to a Super Bowl rematch for this exact game, but going forward, they still have a tough schedule. I mean, the Chiefs going into the season had the 5th toughest schedule. Obviously, the Eagles are going to try to battle it out with Dallas here in the coming weeks, since they still play San Francisco as well. Dallas rematch, so that division can come down to the end of the season. That being said, does Philly win their division in your eyes, and do the Chiefs win the AFC Championship?
No, definitely. I think the Eagles are going to win their division, and I think the Chiefs are going to win their division. To be honest with you, I feel like we're going to have another repeat Super Bowl of this same matchup. To be honest with you, because you can never count Pat Mahomes out. And to be honest with you, the Eagles they're looking pretty strong this year as well too. Maybe they just had a one-off with that game last night, but I don't know, man. I think we might be in for a repeat Super Bowl if you ask me. I don't see nobody really giving those two problems on either side. What do you think?
Yeah, to me, I think yeah, for me for Philly, if they get past this hurdle for the next few weeks, I think they're going to pass that test and roll
Mm-hmm.
into the playoff season with some great momentum. This was their first test, right? They passed the Chiefs away game. They had beat Dolphins a couple of weeks ago. We know how high powered offense that team could be. But up next, they got the Bills, right? Bills coming off that bounce back win. Granted, it was against the Jets, but they look better. To Josh Allen's credit, he said it wasn't necessarily the best that they could play, but it's great to see them get back on the board, score some touchdowns, and put points on the board. And then Philly, after the Bills, they have the 49ers, like I mentioned earlier, Cowboys, and then Seattle. And to me,
Mm-hmm.
Seattle is no joke. They're at Seattle too.
They're a little sleeper team. You're
Right,
right.
they're
They're a
they're in
sleeper team.
December. Granted, we'll see how Geno Smith does. He took that shot this past week to the ribs, but that's a month from now, so I would expect Geno and the team to be full participants on there. So it's a lot of football still left, but this next month for Philly is
Yeah.
definitely key to me.
I mean, when you say the Bills, I mean, are we sold on the Bills, man? Like, I don't know, bro. The Bills, I don't know. I'm just not that impressed by the Bills. Like, I think every week we expect them to win, and then when they have those close games with those sucky teams, that we'll say, but they never look convincing in none of their
Right.
wins, even in their losses. They not impressing. They don't impress me at all. So I don't know. I'm just not sold on the Bills just as of yet. But you can't sleep on them too hard, you know.
Yeah, no doubt. And like if you look at the Chiefs' schedule, and I mentioned, they had the fifth toughest schedule, but if you look at the remaining schedule, they got the Raiders coming up, and the Raiders are going to play them hard. Look, Antonio Pierce, he's got that team competing,
Mm-hmm.
which is what you want to see, right? Out of your team at
They're
least.
definitely playing with passion right now. They're
Right.
playing with a little bit more passion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know we haven't taken a look at the bets or the over under, but and that's a game I would take the Raiders spread if it's like 7 or 10. I don't know. We'll take a look at it shortly, but I think it's going to be a closer game. Then they play the Packers. Packers are the Packers. I don't trust them, even though they won this past weekend. Then,
Nah.
like we just talked about, again, the Bills is their only team. After that, Patriots, Raiders again, Bengals, and Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously,
That's
right.
it. That's
Yeah.
done. Like, who? The
Right.
cakewalk. That's a cakewalk.
So to
man.
me, like you're saying, they should win their division. They should be the number one team ranked in the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
Everything should go through Arrowhead. And we'll take a look at the standings here real quick to see where we're at in the AFC. But really, if you look at the playoffs teams, the Dolphins currently, the Steelers, Browns, by the Ravens, AFC North could have had all four teams had Joe Burrow stayed healthy. And then the Jags.
Oh,
I'll say out of all
the
those
Jags.
teams,
You gotta watch the Jags.
I'll say out of all those teams, the Jags played them hard last year in the playoffs, if I recall. Maybe it was last year, maybe it was 2 years ago, but they were in Arrowhead. I'm pretty sure that was
Something
last
like
year.
that.
But I think the Jags are their toughest
Yeah, I
challenge.
agree with you on that.
Like top to bottom
Yes.
defense, and if they can protect Trev, then
Yeah, Jags are definitely
he can
scary.
deliver the ball.
Jags are scary.
Right. Yeah. All right. So we agree there. So we'll take a look. I mean, like I said, over a month to play. It was a great game last night to see, but we'll see where these two teams are at. Personally, I know you're thinking. So you're thinking they're going to both be in the Super Bowl rematch, right?
I'm thinking a rematch, man. I don't see nobody beating them. I don't.
See, I'm the opposite. I don't think either team's headed to the Super Bowl. I think
mean,
they will be the top seeds. I don't think they're going to win though.
But I mean, you're a Cowgirls fan, so.
Oh, here we go, bro. We
I mean,
don't throw out these scenarios.
You're a Cowgirls fan. I mean, you're supposed to feel that way. I don't. I don't.
I mean,
I'm
not saying the Cowboys are going to win. I'm just saying I don't think the Eagles are going to make it. Based on everything.
Sounds about right.
But we'll see.
Sounds about
we'll
right.
See. All right, next up, we're gonna switch gears here. We're gonna talk women's sports here. We're gonna head down to Louisiana, down to LSU specifically, where Angel Reese has sat out the past 2 games. So obviously, if you all don't know who Angel Reese is, probably the best player in the country last season in college women's basketball. LSU helped LSU go on to win their first college basketball championship. under Mulkey there, but things have gotten off rocky, and there's a lot of ways this conversation can go, but it looks like NIL has had an impact on how Angel Reese A plays. Maybe she's looking forward to the WNBA, but basically, in case you missed it, um, second game into the season, maybe it was the fourth game. Angel Reese is playing right. She shoots a three. Oh, the first minute in, Mulkey pulls her out, and she sits her for the next 9 minutes of the game.
I thought it was the whole
Uh,
second half. I thought she said the whole second half, huh?
another game. You're right.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah. So there's been multiple times where she sat down, but that's what started all this, and then she hasn't dressed the past two games. Mulkey has been, what do you say, mum about the situation, saying, that she wishes players would be a little bit tougher, especially in the leadership position. So she doesn't name drop Reese, but obviously she's talking about Reese. So what are you hearing down there? What are you seeing down in Louisiana?
I mean, we've heard so many rumors about
Mm,
why she isn't playing, what happened, because LSU actually came down here to play Hammond,
yep.
Southeastern. So that was like
Right.
something big down here. Everybody was looking forward to, and she didn't even dress out.
Mm,
So man, there was a lot of stuff on the internet. Like uh, one other player, I forget the other player, her mom and Angel Reese's mom, like they were getting into it, which was some concern. Then I
mm,
saw something on the internet where I think Angel Reese addressed the media and it said something about her GPA had slipped or something like that. That sounds more
right.
believable, to be honest with you. I mean, you're getting these NIL deals. She's a millionaire. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you make a college player a millionaire. I mean,
Right.
the grades are going to come last at that point. So, I mean, I don't know, man. And then you're talking about she's looking forward to the WNBA. I mean, she's making more money now than she would in the WNBA.
Would play
So,
be played right.
yeah. So if you're going to take anything serious, you need to be taking his college career serious because this is a pivotal point right here in her career. But man,
Right.
so many rumors out there. The most believable one that I think I believe is just I think her GPA actually slipped, and part of it I think it was just part of her ego as well too, man. Especially with Mulkey benching her the way she did, something else had to be there. Like
Mm,
that doesn't just happen. So I think it's just ego and just other things going on. Because when you look at all the hype that they had last year, then they come in this season, lose the first
mm,
game the way they did, you know, that's a
mm-hmm.
humbling experience. And to be honest with you, I think they kind of needed that loss, to be honest with you. Um,
Right.
because all we've been hearing this offseason is LSU, LSU, LSU girls. I mean, we don't even hear about the
Yeah.
boys teams anymore. We just hear about LSU girls.
Well, we heard
So
about their first loss. We did hear that,
exactly.
but
But dude, a lot of these top teams have been getting knocked down. I mean,
right.
when you got that much hype on you, everybody's coming at you to play hard. Like you're not going to get
Exactly.
an easy game at all. Yeah,
Right.
so um,
And I
that's
don't.
all
And
I
I
got
mean,
on it, man.
right. And like you talked about it. So yeah, you get that loss right off the bat. Right. We know the dynasties that
Mhm.
have been created in college basketball, at least on the women's side. Right down in South Carolina, great basketball teams there. Obviously up in UConn. I don't want to say that we won't see that anymore, but you mentioned it. NIL has just opened the door to players picking up and just moving. So, and LSU's no
Mhm.
different. I mean, they picked up Haley Van Lith, a hell of a basketball player,
Yeah.
who was in, Sweet 16, Elite Eight, possibly, if I recall. Anisha Morrow from DePaul picked up, so the two guards. And the team is running through these two girls differently this year, obviously, because they don't
Mhm.
have to get the ball in the paint all the time to an Angel Reese. Um,
Yeah.
and I believe they played last night or maybe 2 nights ago, and I mean they put up over 100 on Texas State. So,
Mhm. That was one of those angry
right.
victories right there. Like they scoring more than NBA men.
And I said Texas State. They did beat the Texas Southern Tigers. Sorry, Texas Southern 106-47. I mean, yeah, there's no doubt that they're going to be back to where they were.
that
Back in
was
the
that was
tournament.
an angry
Whether they can
victory.
win it or not, we'll see. But we know Mulkey. I followed her back. In Louisiana Tech days. Went to Baylor. She's won with Brittany Griner. So it
Homegrown, baby.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
she did have
So
Griner.
it's
I
been
forgot she was
different
at
times, but
Baylor.
like you
You're
said,
right.
that money, I it's getting to some of these players' heads, and it is different.
Yeah, that's
You're
different.
right. After winning, And
Hmm.
I know you mentioned the GPA. There were comments that were like, "How can you not keep up a 2.0 GPA with a undergraduate in communications? Like you've taken 4 classes,
By not giving a damn
right?"
at all. Think about it. You think she went to class? She wasn't going to class. If you're a
Mm-hmm.
star athlete like that, and think
Mm-hmm.
about LSU as well, can you
Yeah,
really go to
I mean
class?
that's where that
You know
girl,
what I mean?
Livy
Like,
Dunn, the gymnast. LSU's got a lot of pub for people. Joe Burrow, Livy Angel, right?
dude,
Paul
LSU
Skeens.
lit,
Like
dude.
I
Like,
mean,
hold up.
exactly. Like
Baby Hollywood
it's
over here.
a it's a school that has everything. So yeah, while the players of all these sports have been on campus, they've all migrated, into different roles.
You can't, dude. You
Yeah,
got to have a superstar class only. Like,
yeah,
classes just for your superstars. Because how can you really go to
yeah.
school and be
You're
normal
right.
at that point? You're a millionaire at this point. You know, walking around with people who can't buy lunches and stuff sometimes. So no,
Oh
you on
man.
ESPN and then you're
Well,
in my class.
I'm glad we
You
talked
know.
about this segment because it brings us up to our next thing. I know we were talking and prepping for the show. We talked about Clay Travis. Now I don't know much about Clay Travis. I know that I used to listen to him back in early 2000s over in Sirius Satellite Radio in one of his shows. But he's been making a lot of noise. He challenged the WNBA team, the last year's winner. I believe it was the Las Vegas Aces who won last year, to basically $1 million game. He would take the best team in high school, in his opinion. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the number one team in the country, but he would just pick the best state champion that he could find and go up 1-on-1 against the Las Vegas Aces. He would put up $1 million for this game. If they win, then he would give the $1 million to the WNBA team, which, as you just mentioned, is, and talk about Angel Reese, that's more money than most of them make, for at least for a single game in basketball. Heck, probably what they make in a season once they divvy it out amongst the roster. But if they lose, they have to take their $1 million that they have and give it to Travis, and he would then give it to the high school boys. That being said, a WNBA team versus
Mhm.
a high school boys basketball team. Who you got?
Ah, that dude, he's such an asshole. But goddamn, he's like, ah, dude, that's a tough one. I'm not gonna even lie. Like, I know the women, they are professionals. Um, I've seen some female ballers who I know, like, dude, they next level. So, um, and plus,
Oh
I
yeah,
always like
yeah.
to represent the ladies, especially in ladies sports. You know, um, no knock against
Mm-hmm.
them at all. But dang, I
I mean,
want to
correct me
go
if I'm
with the
wrong, and,
women,
and we'll
dude.
we'll get right back to
I want to
this.
go with the women. I'm my gut is telling me the women.
Hold up. Okay, before you make your decision, wasn't it Brittany Griner that said she was a better center than Boogie Cousins? Was
Yeah, and
that
I don't
her?
believe that shit. Like, that's.
Okay. So that's our
Mhm.
foundation, right? As far as that, but most people, if you go deep into this came out in late October. Most people think that he would pick out Mount Verde Academy. Let me just give you their roster,
Mhm.
okay? Against the WNBA team. We can compare roster to roster. First up, you got Cooper Flag, the number one ranked
Oh,
player
I
in
forgot
high school
about
basketball.
Cooper. Oh, it's the boys. I'm not even lying. It's the boys. Damn, that's that white boy. Look, white
Yeah,
Amish boy.
Cooper
Ain't he
Flag. He's
Amish?
6'9". He's 6'9", 200 pounds. He's committed to Duke, right? You're
Oh,
like,
he
okay, well
nasty
that's
too.
just
I
one
saw it.
player
He
on their team.
nasty.
Then you got Asa Newell at Mount Verde Academy, committed to Georgia, 6'9", 100
Ooh.
195 pounds, power forward. You're like, all right, well, that's just two positions. At strong forward, also, Liam McKinley committed to Indiana, 6'7", 190 pounds. And then at center, Derek Queen, 6'9", 230 pounds,
Wait, all these dudes on the same team?
at Mount Verde Academy.
Damn. Look, dude, I'm over here thinking you picking putting players together. Look. Oh hell no. Ah, damn, dude. I look. I'm not gonna lie. I'm going with the boys, but it's gonna be the high school boys. I'm not even lying. He can really just pick that team. He don't even have to pick the state champs. Just pick that team, and I think they. Ah, dude. Yeah, I'm going. I'm going with the boys. I'm not going to even lie. But I do like what he said about, like doing a pay-per-view,
Right.
doing all those things to kind of generate revenue, saying it'll be the most watched uh
Right.
game, bigger than the WNBA games,
Yeah.
more views than what the WNBA currently does. But I think that would be a good idea, man. I think now, yes, the Aces are going to take some risk of actually losing the game, and that's going to be horrible
I mean,
and
I'm looking at the rest of
really
this.
tough to get
I'm
over.
looking at the rest of the
But I
squad. They
think
actually
they'll be
got Dairy
okay.
Queen here list on their website on the high school team. They got Queen listed as a forward at 6'10". Their guard, Caden Allen, 6'6". We talked about Asa Newell, 6'10" of forward. Cooper Flag, you said that white boy, he do look homage, 6'9". 6'9". Their
That
guard,
white boy
Caleb
be
Gaskin,
balling. I
six
saw
eight.
him, dude. I'm
Dude,
telling you.
you talk about 6'8" and above team. That's what I'm saying.
And then these
I
man
mean,
childs, these man childs
they're
too.
freshmen coming off the
Like
bench.
this not like your
Gabe
average
Newsmith,
teenager. These are man child.
6'5" guard. Like, come on.
No.
Yeah, let's
All
pull
right,
this
now
up
go
real
over the
quick. But
Aces.
I mean,
Let's hear their
I'm gonna try to see
let's
if
see
I
their
even
lineup.
recognize a name.
Let's
Okay,
try to be the
I think
judge
I'm
of
gonna
it a
recognize a
little
couple
bit
of
here.
games. And again, there's no disrespect to the ladies, but if you follow me or you know me, you know
Mhm.
that I will bet the under on shots taken, or sorry, under on shots made in the WNBA. But let's take a
Mhm.
look and see here who their official roster is for the Las Vegas.
Now
Yeah,
they got
no
some
doubt,
dogs
no
on them
doubt.
Aces. Now I don't know. It might maybe I think the
You know what? I
IQ
don't
might
even like
help
their
the
webpage. I'm
ladies.
gonna go to ESPN's
Just
webpage because they're
I think the
whoever runs
IQ
the
might help the
Vegas
ladies in
Aces
the
site, please redo it. That they look like it's on
fire
GoDaddy. Yeah,
trash.
trash.
Like Bub
All
Junior
right,
trash.
they
Look.
got their guard 6'1" out of Florida Gulf Coast, Kirsten Bell. I don't know that girl. I can't say.
All right. We're just gonna say she
Right.
AI like. You know what I'm saying? She's small
Then
but
they got
quick. All right.
forward,
Let's go.
5'11" forward, Alicia Clark.
All right. She
Alicia
Muggsy
Clark.
Bogues, baby.
All right. I
Muggsy
mean, I'm gonna go
Bogues.
through these names now. Elena Coates, Sydney Colson, Kayla George, Chelsea Gray. This is a name I know, but she's old. No offense. Candace Parker, 6'4". All right. Casey Plum. All right, we know her. See, we knew two players. Or at least I knew two players. Then after that, Kaya Stokes. I'm probably butchering this name.
Stokes. I like
Rakuna
Stokes.
Williams,
That's my girl.
Aja Wilson. Okay, that's three names I know, and Jackie Young.
Yeah, I
I
know
know
her. Yes.
three of the players.
I ain't gonna lie, bro.
That's what
I'm
I'm
put
saying.
that white boy on Parker. He flying. I'm talking about flag flying through the air.
See, now that you said that
Dude, he
he's
be balling. I
Amish,
saw his highlight.
I'm
I
just
just
envisioning
stumbled
this
up
Amish
across
boy.
it too.
Ah,
I was like, who the fuck is this? Look, I'm putting flag
bro.
on Candace Parker, and that's a wrap.
I mean,
Everybody else just play.
hey, look. I
You know
mean, I
what,
get it. It's
ladies?
high
I'm
school.
not gonna
Some of
lie.
these WNBA players been playing for a while at the highest collegiate level, where these boys are going to be playing, here soon. But to his
Mhm.
point, man, we've seen these high school kids jump out the gym, like, and not even at the highest
Yeah.
level.
Well, it's more than jumping too. Like
Right.
they're just like some
I mean, when
athletic dogs. You know what I'm saying?
Derek
Like,
Queen's supposed to
and
be a
they can
center.
ball out too, man.
Derek
Like
Queen listed as a
jump
center
shots, all
on
that
a
shit.
6'10", but it listed as a power
He's
forward,
6'10", huh?
on their roster. So I haven't seen him play, but the boys got to have moves.
That's small in the NBA. Bruh, I forgot it. Once you said Cooper
Right.
Flag
Nah.
and it came back
Right.
to my mind, the
I was
team he
like
was
you. I was
on.
like, there gotta be.
You know what?
I was like you. There's got to be another Mount Verde Academy,
Maybe.
but there wasn't.
I think it'll be more fair.
Uh-huh.
I think it'll be more fair if he let the
Like an all-star team.
WNBA put together their team.
Yeah.
I
All-star
think
team.
basically an all-star team. Put together an all-star
Yeah.
team, and then I still say against the high school team, to be honest with you. Cooper Flag them. I say put the all-star team against that. Then I think that'll be kind of more even. And I would like to see that. I actually pay for
I would see it.
I would.
I'm not gonna lie,
I
just
actually
to
want to see
see.
it now, actually. I want to see that. I want to
We'll
see
have to see
that
what comes
game.
of it. Probably nothing will come of it, but you know what? If you could
I
sell it
want to
on
see
it's
that
going to
game.
be for a good
I actually want
cause.
to see it now. You never know. I don't know. We living in the days of Conor McGregor,
Yeah,
Mayweather,
you never know.
Francis Ngannou, Fury. I
Yeah,
mean, Jake Paul just
yeah.
doing whatever. You
It
know what I'm
might.
saying? Like that look
It
like
might.
something that might could happen. I pay to see it. I think people want to see it, but I'm not. Hey, that reminds me of that soccer game. Remember I sent you that video of
Mm.
those professional soccer chicks, and they was like, "Come try
Oh,
to play a game against
yeah.
me, walk a mile in my
Yeah,
shoes," and
bro.
they got
The
a boys
U17
high
with the
school
women's
soccer team,
national
and I'm
team, man. Like we've seen
I
this
ain't gonna lie,
before.
they murked them. I ain't gonna even lie, that was bad. Now, women don't come out with that attitude right there. Don't act like them soccer
Oh
chicks. Y'all need
man.
to come with it. But nah, I don't know, Rude. I think
Yeah.
I don't know. They are professionals, man. You know,
Right. The
like I say, I
right.
think the IQ maybe. I think the
Right.
WNBA with them doing all the drills and the IQ and the things that they know, plays, experience. Maybe that may you know help them be victorious. You know what I mean? Like maybe the young
Yeah, because
guns are
I
just gonna
mean,
come in all
heck, I
hot
know how
headed and
I be as a
athletic
dude.
and not really
I
paying
mean,
attention.
you and me can feel
And
like we can go up
you
against a
know,
WNBA player real quick. Get a couple points in, but I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see. And
yeah,
for sure.
I want to see it now, dude. We
And
about
it's,
to start hyping it up.
speaking of things that might happen,
Let's
Dak
hype
for
it up.
MVP. Is this gonna happen? So let's go into a few stats.
Here we
Dak
go.
after the Sunday's win against Carolina, he's got the season so far with 2,604 passing yards, a 70%
Mm,
completion percentage, 19 tubs to 6 interceptions. The question is, what competition though, Rue, has he faced to even be considered an MVP? And this conversation was gaining momentum going into last week.
mm,
But what competition do you think he's even faced to be considered to do that?
none. I mean, the
Mm.
only shot he really had, man, was that 49ers game. And
Right.
they just didn't
And
show
Philly.
up. That was their time to kind of, hey, this gonna be a statement win. Or even if
Mm-hmm.
you didn't win, you know, at least go down swinging. You should have been in the fight at least. And it just seems like the Cowboys just wasn't in the fight that whole game. Um, but I don't think they've really beaten anyone to, or he's beaten anyone to put him as like a front runner for MVP. I mean, I think he should be in the consideration because of they have one game. He did put up these stats, so I think he should be in the conversation, but I don't think he's the front runner. But at the same time, I don't know who's the front runner for MVP. I think that's the only reason we're really talking about him for MVP because there's really no one that's really impressed us. I mean, at this point, Patrick Mahomes is just starting to seem like LeBron. Like you can put LeBron in the MVP conversation every year, to be honest with you.
Right.
So what, Pat Mahomes and who else? So I mean, he's on the list. He's in the conversation, but I don't think he should be the front runner. Um,
Right.
who else is in front of him? Still a mystery. I don't know, but definitely he hasn't beaten anyone. I don't think they've beaten anyone to be like he's the front runner. He should be MVP. Um, I mean, who you got, dude? Who playing better than Dak right now?
I mean, I'm gonna look straight at the camera. Dak Prescott is not a MVP player, not a candidate. Dallas has not beat anybody with a winning record so far this year. I said it on episode 1 of the fellas. If they
Mm-mm.
lost to Philly, they would win the next 3 games, which they've won 2 of the 3 so far, and they have the Commanders coming up next. After that, they could possibly very well lose the next 5 and finish off the year 9-8. All right. So first off, you haven't beat anybody with a winning record. The
Mm-hmm.
reason you're getting the conversation though is because of the stats we just showed. CD Lamb being CD after the San Francisco game when they started utilizing him more as
Mm,
that floating one, which basically you're a one, you're in the slot, you're the second receiver to get on the ball and a lot of touches. I get that. Tony Pollard has fallen off the map. He is what Zeke was last year, and he's running in Cabo Sand, except for I believe it was his past game against Carolina. He started running the ball semi decently, but even before that, I mean, his
Yeah.
highest rush was besides the 100-yard game. After that, he's been at 70 yards was his highest total. So he hasn't been helping Dak. I get that, but boy, we know that defense. That defense is top defense. It might not be in stats, but I wouldn't want to be going up against that defense. So to me, and watching them week in and week out, it's been a defensive game, a defensive team that has helped Dak get from the front. And you mentioned it. If they can't get ahead like they did in San Francisco, this team doesn't put up points. So to me, it's not happening. And you can't be the MVP if you don't win the division. And right now, obviously, Jalen Hurts and the boys got the division so far. So if he proves me wrong, which I know he will not, you hear me, Dak? You will not prove me wrong. You will probably go 1-4 in December, and you might finish the season out at 10-7 or 9-8. I'm prepping all Dallas fans. This
Yeah,
ain't
that
the
sounds
season.
about right.
If I'm wrong, I hope to be wrong, but Dak shouldn't be nowhere near this conversation. Teams, I'll say players that are Christian McCaffrey, run C-Mac, run. Dude's got a touchdown in every damn game except for one that he's played in San Francisco, 17 of 18. And I know we don't go back to last season, but still, this season. Then you got Tua, what he's doing with Miami, being healthy, right? Being consistent. And obviously, Pat Mahomes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, he did lose this past week, but he's still Pat Mahomes at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And the stats weren't there in that game, but it wasn't his fault the stats weren't there. That receiving core treated him like they treated Justin Herbert the other day against the Packers. So I don't see it, Rue. I don't see it. You thought I was going to say, give you something and try to fight you on this one. I ain't doing it. All right. And our last segment here, sports betting. Now, Rue, do you dabble in these bets? Are you going to start dabbling or what?
I don't know. You know how I am. I feel like somebody's always watching. It's a conspiracy.
Yeah, you know.
They just, it's like ever since that Rams Super Bowl when Odell Beckham went down, you know, ruined my parlay. I was about to win, and then down goes Beckham.
Rue was about to win this bet 2 minutes
man,
into the game.
I've been thinking about getting back into it.
I said you were about to win your bet 5 minutes into the game, and the NFL said nah.
Yeah, they was watching me. Look, you know how I feel. They just watching me only. They're trying to take my $25. I'm trying to double up right quick. So I don't know, man. I was thinking about getting back into a few little bets. I see it starting to get popular with everybody. Got my aunties betting. I feel like my mama's betting at this point with the app. Right. So I don't know. I might start back dabbling with it, but if I do that, I might as well start back playing the lotto too. So that's how I feel. But I feel like I do have good picks, and I know the game.
Yeah, I'll tell you. So I went 4-2 last week on my picks. The ones I missed on, man, what were the two now? I'm gonna put myself on the spot here. Let's see, 1 second. Maybe I have the notes here. Yeah. So last week the Chargers let me down, the -3. I thought they would cover that, and then Steelers, I had them at +1.5, and they didn't cover that. So that was my two misses last week. Then I had 49ers beating Tampa, Vikings covering the 2.5. Then I had the Texans at
those first two
-4.5.
teams, you can't count on them for anything.
-4.5, and then
Chargers and Steelers.
Then it was, Chicago at Detroit, money line Detroit. So that was a thriller too. I thought I had something, but hey, I'll give you my 6 games, and then I'll give you my lock of the week. You can tell me if I'm right or wrong.
All right,
but I'll tell you right now.
Who we got?
See if we wager $100, it pays out $1,101. All right. So first up, we have on Thursday we got Green Bay at Detroit. Give me Detroit money line. All right. I'm gonna keep that one simple. Detroit money line. I got the Commanders at Dallas. Give me Dallas money line. Then we got Pittsburgh at Bengals on Sunday. Give me the Steelers money line. All right. Then for our two that'll get us the most amount of money, that Jacksonville Jaguars at Houston. Give me the Jags minus 1.5. So they got to win by 2. I feel like this will be a field goal game coming down to the wire. And then a rivalry. See, I wanted to do a tribute to you this week. New Orleans at Atlanta. New Orleans is plus 1.5. Give me New Orleans. So that'll pay you out $1,100.
I like those picks, but as far as wins, I think Washington might get Dallas. I
You think
think they might
Washington?
get y'all.
They might.
I think Washington might get y'all, and I think Houston is going to get those Jags.
See, but Washington's part of my 3-0 for Dak, so I gotta stick to my predictions. I am the oracle.
Washington gonna get.
I am the oracle, Rue. You know this.
But Rue knows all.
Now,
I'm telling you,
my lock of the week. If I'm putting $1,000 on one game, give me the Vikings beating Chicago Bears, straight up money line.
Dude, I'm telling you, those Bears are weird, bro. I'm telling you,
they are weird. They are weird.
Justin Fields might come out and rush for 275 yards.
I think Josh Dobbs is going to match him at 276. It's a tale.
So?
It's a tale of two.
No, I'm not gonna lie, dude. You're right. Minnesota is freaking hot right now,
and they're different at home. They're different at home. They came back. They almost won last week. He won obviously the first week where he got put in midway, but give him third week with the team at home. I think they win too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just me. I still don't trust Justin Fields.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah,
but don't be surprised. I think next week is going to be a week where those teams that you think are not going to win, those are going to be the ones winning. Like I say, Houston's going to get them. Washington. Then I think Chicago might get those Vikes. I'm telling you. Trust Rue on this. Trust.
All right, we'll see. We'll see. This is your first guest appearance. If you're completely wrong, you're never coming back. So oh, man. So that's it for this week's episode of The Fellas. Rue, great to have you on here. It looks like the internet held up for you. I know it struggles sometimes down in that boot. All right, catch y'all next week on The Fellas.